Good afternoon, YouTubers. Tsquare here with Tsquare Talk. So today I wanted to do a quick video about a comment that I had recently received. And this is a comment that I have heard time and time again, including from conversations with friends, including even when I used to talk about like gold and silver before I really understood the full workings and everything going on. I had always said to myself, you know, why would anybody buy gold over silver? Why not just buy silver? Because of some of the things that I'm going to tell you today. However, I wanted to do a video and talk a little bit about reasons why some people might like to buy gold over silver in some situations. Now, if you guys enjoyed this video or you find it a little bit helpful, please make sure you hit that subscribe button because it really does help the channel out more than you know. We're trying to grow the channel. We are growing more and more every day as more people tell their friends, more people get involved in stacking metals, especially with everything going on in the economy, with the banking sector and stuff. So please hit that subscribe button, take a quick minute, hit that thumbs up button, and leave me a comment. Let me know your thoughts on this issue, because comments are what drive videos usually for YouTubers. When we see a comment that seems like a good question, a good video idea, then we usually like to hit it up. Okay, so with that being said, let's get started talking about it. Now, just so you didn't have to see my mug the whole time, I put some gold coins out there, some silver coins, so you guys can be like, oh, that's pretty cool. That's a neat coin. So I also am using a piece of reference item that comes from Universal Coin and Bullion. This is the metals market report that Mike Folger puts out with all of their orders. So they throw one of these in there, and it's an interesting letter. It's a long letter. It has a lot of good information in it, and it's kind of a helpful tip for people that either don't believe in gold and silver because of the nonsense about it's a pet rock and you just pay for it and you store it and it doesn't really do you anything. So there's going to be some technical stuff, but then there's going to be the average everyday stuff that I'm going to tell you on why I like to invest in it. So I'm going to start off with the why I like to invest in gold over silver, but I like them both, as you guys know from most of my ordering. With silver, when you have a drop, it's usually devastating. I mean, and I'm talking devastating. If you guys have been following my channel any length of time, you saw not even a month ago where I was on here kind of ranting a little bit about the full manipulation of silver. We've talked about manipulation time and time again and how the price of silver can literally plunge in value in such a short time. But when it starts to have a run up, we really see a big run up. And that's where big profits, essentially, in my opinion, can be made. Now, with gold, you never see any, drastic, in my opinion, overnight. We haven't. Maybe you've been in the market a lot longer than me, and you were around during the 80s when we've seen huge run-ups, or maybe in the 2000 or 2008 when we've seen these huge run-ups. However, with that being said, over time, gold has a slow consistency of always going up in price. Silver, on the other hand, it's not always consistent. I mean, you might have a year of bad and then a year of good, and then you could have a sharp bad month, especially when contracts like shorts have to be settled out. Because when you got to settle huge amounts of shorts, I am 100% convinced, as are many of you, that we see huge beatdowns. We just see huge amounts of shorts come on the market, paper shorts, where there's no way anybody has that kind of silver. And essentially they drive the price down, they settle their contracts, and then they let it go again and start buying it back up. And what you're seeing when that happens is huge amounts of paper, not real physical silver or even gold, hitting the market. When you look at the current price of silver, we have current price of silver right now trading at $22.65. Literally only about a week ago, we were at $19.90. That's a huge gain in the last, 30 days or so, roughly. When you actually look at the actual 30-day number on silver, we're showing right now a 4.5% climb, 4.58. according to the Kitco charts. But when you look at silver over the last year, you have a negative 10% drop in silver. Now, a lot of that came because of the big run-up that we saw, and then we saw that big beat down. So if the price ran up just before the year end, now these numbers change all the time because depending on when they've went up and when they've went down. So if you've been in silver for 1 year as of today, you literally have lost 11% of your money. Now, that doesn't mean if you've been in it 6 months or if you've been in it 4 months. That means if you've been in it 365 days. However, when you look at gold right now, gold trading right now at $1,990. If you look at it over the last 30 days, you've got an 8.33% increase. However, 8.33% is more than the silver's percentage, but I also want to note that what we usually see in these markets first happen is gold goes up and then silver follows. So I want to catch both trains if I can when they do happen. If you look at the 1 year, the last 365 days on gold right now, you're showing a 2.41, so 2.5% increase if you've been in it over a year. To some people, they might say 2.5% does not seem like that much. But keep in mind all the stuff that's been happening over the last year. We've had banks collapse. We've seen horrible numbers in the stock market. We've seen increased raising of rates. We're seeing so much happening right now that a 2.5% gain in a garbage market, in my opinion, is pretty good. It's easy to say, when everything is going up, hey, let's get in it. You take cryptos, for instance. When every crypto was going up, I would go out on a limb to say the majority of this community probably bought some sort of crypto. I mean, including myself. I was huge in Dogecoin on its climb up. I got out way too early, but at the end, looking back, I'm glad that I got out early. I mean, I literally sold out all my Dogecoin and profited huge numbers on that I probably wouldn't have received if I had I know I wouldn't have received if I had stayed in it for the long haul. Because now, I mean, you can look at the price today, and hindsight is always 20/20 is what they say. So, but when you really look at some of the technical stuff when it comes to this, and this was a statement that I found really interesting in this newsletter, because I've heard this briefly, but I've never really thought about it. When I read it in the newsletter, I had to go and look this up. And it gives you the numbers, and you can verify these numbers yourself. But when interest rates go up, gold usually goes up, not down. So a lot of people, including myself, will have always said, and I still say this until you look at this number, but who knows all these statistics off the top of their head? Interest rates go up, then the dollar goes up, and then gold goes down because you can buy more of it. But the truth of the matter, when you really think about what's in this newsletter and you read it, and I'm going to be reading it to you here in just a minute, is usually when interest rates go up, things in this country are going bad. So maybe the value of gold might essentially go down, but more people want it, which means they're buying it up. And when they buy it up, they're driving the price up. So as I read this newsletter, the pundits, and if you guys have ever ordered a order from Universal Coin and Bullion, you will have gotten one of these letters. I order regularly from them. I order a small order every single week. It's not always something big and glamorous. I mean, I've ordered as much as a couple of silver rounds, like 5 or 6 silver rounds. I think my last week's order was only $200. And you guys saw it in the previous video that I opened up, package opening video. But as I read this, I'm going to read a couple paragraphs just from it. When interest rates go up, gold usually goes up, not down. The pundits keep getting this wrong, but they keep saying in the press reports that gold goes down when interest rates go up, since they say gold pays no interest. Therefore, it can't compete with interest income. But in nearly all historical instances, raising interest rates Gold went up. It went up, not down. Well, I had to verify that because I don't believe anything I hear. And I just like to read up on stuff. So as you read on, too, he states, in gold's greatest bull run in 1976 to 1980, interest rates rose to their highest levels in history, with the prime rate reaching 20% in 1980. So think about that. And some of y'all may remember this depending on your age. I was really young when this happened, so I can't say I remember this. Have I read up on this? Yes. I know in 1980 interest rates were through the roof. People were buying homes at 20% interest rates. Can you even imagine that? And I talk to old people a lot because you get a lot of your info from old people. They've been through it. And they tell me to this day that, oh, well, yes, interest rates might seem, high right now, but they've been higher. They've been higher. When you look at basically when they bought their first home, you had interest rates, well, like it says here, 20%. And historically, we've seen that. As you go on and read, in gold's second greatest bull market, from 2001 to 2011, interest rates rose rapidly from 03 to 07 at a time where gold had its greatest price increase. And a lot of you guys remember this. This was during we had the dot-com bubble. Then we had the housing crisis. When the housing crisis happened, that was it. We pumped so much money into the system. And I'm convinced right now that if you guys have been following the bank bailouts, right now, first of all, they can't get the debt ceiling increased right now. They have too much bipartisanship. They're not going to raise the debt ceiling. So it looks to me like they're going a different way. If banks collapse, let's get FDIC to protect all accounts, especially on the big banks that are going under right now. I was watching something with Janet Yellen the other day where she was getting questioned about, well, are we gonna show small banks the same courtesy of guaranteeing any loans, or are we gonna risk all these big money players getting out of their little banks and going to bigger banks, therefore causing a run on the little banks? I'm always convinced that stuff doesn't happen just for a reason. 9 times out of 10, it seems like we, the people, are being played. And that's what I think is happening right now. They want to move us all into bigger banks, cut down on all these small banks. I mean, there's thousands and thousands of small banks across the country. If they could put them all in one handful, they would love that, because it's easier for them to monitor, to control, to convince, to do things that's in their best interest. So that's another thing that I think is going on. And then the last paragraph that I'm going to read right here. In 1973 to 74, when gold was rising rapidly, interest rates were rising too. And when gold fell in 1975 to 76, interest rates were falling as well. So a lot for people to think about with that. Reading here, I want people to see this too, because this was an important line that I had actually looked at. And I was like, I knew this number already because I've been buying gold when literally you could buy these little tiny, well, not that one, but like one of these 10th ounce $5 gold coins, when you could buy them for $100 a piece. Them to me were the $100 bill. Did I have many of them? No, I only bought a handful. It was a good deal. I was like, well, I'll take 10 of them for $1,000. I was working for the big oil fields. I was making money. And, I remember getting laughed at when I bought it because, who buys a gold coin? It's a coin. It's a $5 coin that you're paying $100 for. But now looking back at it, I mean, you look at the price now, you're talking literally $230 if I go to sell that. In some cases, even more. I see online some people are selling for like $269. I probably wouldn't pay that high of a premium unless it's certified and graded and has some kind of fancy label, something like that. Otherwise, I mean, I'll just go with a raw, kind of like this right here. It's a raw coin because it hadn't been graded or anything. But gold has potential. Now, when I read this last comment, 2 years ago this week, March 9th of 2001, gold was trading, though, at 1720. And the Dow was at 3,200. 1720, we look at it today, we're talking 1990. That's a pretty good increase for 2 years, in my opinion, especially in 2 years where we haven't been seeing big profits coming up with a lot of stuff. Now, one of the other things that this is something that I've said myself numerous times, and I don't want to say I feel bad saying it, but it does make sense still to this day. But also when you go to sell it, if you're selling it at the wrong time, I mean, I'm looking right now at selling possibly all this and then some, only because I want to buy a traveling van or a modified van or a modified truck camper to put on a truck, and kind of start traveling like van life, like some of these channels do, and they travel. But I want to have a different approach. Like when I travel, when I used to travel, I used to pick up coins at different antique shops, different markets, and I would trade with people everywhere I went. And I've met some of the greatest subscribers to the channel. Some of you guys I've met in person. I've met Chris B. I've met New Marshall. I've met countless of you guys in my travels. And I haven't done it since the whole outbreak. A year before the outbreak, I had some issues in my life that had a major change on my life. And I tried to keep some of that personal. And then when I started coming out of that and getting through it, then it was the whole outbreak. And then I couldn't travel because I was kind of split with my family, some of my friends, about whether or not I was going to get the, what we're not really allowed to talk about on the channel, the whole poke. And so it made it hard for me to really talk with him. But you guys know, we do, if you're watching this video, you're like me, you do a lot of research on this stuff and you have your beliefs on it. Just like gold and silver. When you listen to mainstream tells you you're wasting your money if you're buying that. But here's the thing. The mainstream channels and stuff told you to buy FTX. They told you to buy SVB, Silicon Valley Bank. I mean, literally only 1 month before Silicon Valley Bank went under, you had Jim Cramer telling everybody to buy it on CNBC. You had Forbes magazine coming out saying Silicon Valley Bank is the #1 investment right now for banking. And look what happened a month later. I mean, come on. That just tells you mainstream is rigged against us. But videos from independent news subscribers, independent people, journalists, whatever you want to call it, people like me, people like some of you guys that are watching this video that makes other YouTube videos. You guys understand that doing your own homework is the key. And I always tell people, I'm not a financial channel. I'm not giving you financial advice. Do your own homework. But when it comes to gold and silver in this market, we're seeing gold and silver run up. Some channels will tell you, there are channels, because now I believe that there are people out there that are downing. I mean, you see it, gold and silver. Oh, we're going to see $1,400 gold. Oh, we're going to see $15 silver again. Come on. With everything going up, that's like saying we're going to see dollar gas. That's like saying we're going to see 5-cent eggs. We're not going to see it. It would blow my mind if I went to the gas station and I filled up my car for $20. Oh, it's only $1 a gallon today. Come on. Food prices aren't going down. Energy prices aren't going down. Housing prices aren't going down. Then it only makes sense, if nothing else is coming down, that gold and silver is probably not going to come down. It's going to keep going up like everything else. Can we see short terms? Yeah. I mean, we've seen eggs skyrocket. We've seen them kick back down a little bit because everybody doesn't want to pay it. So they all go out and buy chickens. I went to Tractor Supply the other day. You guys know I've been trying to get my chickens back. And literally Tractor Supply said, we sell out in like 30 minutes. Well, how many are you getting? 400. They're only getting 400 every Thursday, and they're selling out instantly. I went to another place. chickens sold out. I had a couple people tell me, well, you got incubators. How come you don't run them again? You know, I didn't really want to wait the extra time because I am kind of crunched on time, because in a year from now, my goal is this time next year to be on the road. That means I've got to downsize everything. And I don't want to get too off track with this, but I've got to put this point out there, because if everything's going up, it only makes sense that gold and silver is going to go up too. And when it comes to silver, it has a lot more volatility. We'll see big gains up, we'll see big falls down. And if you need money when it falls, if you really need money and you have to get the money or pay some high interest rate on something and it goes down, do you really want to have to sell your silver? No. That's why I allot some money to gold. I allot some money to silver. The silver is essentially there. If stuff goes well, I can sell some. If the markets are at a downturn and I really need money, gold is a true savings account. It always has been. It has no counterparty risk. It's there for the long term. So with that being said, I thank everybody for watching. I dragged this out 20 minutes. I apologize. I wanted it to be a quick video, but I'm trying to expand my videos and talk about more stuff, and especially your comments. If you leave me a comment about something you want to hear about, then there's a good chance I'm going to do a video on it, because I'm trying to get more into more videos a week, not just 3. I know if I do start traveling, doing van life, I'm going to be in the middle of nowhere for periods of time, like a few days at a time, which means I won't be able to do a daily video. And so that's why I kind of want to get my videos in now, talk about some of these subjects. Don't think for a minute if I start doing other types of videos that I will leave the gold and silver community. I am always going to be a part of this community, because essentially, I mean, it's been here for me. You guys have been here for me, and I'm always going to believe in it. This is real money. This is sound money. The dollar will probably fall before gold and silver falls. Not probably. I 100% believe it will, along with every other fiat currency in the world, for that matter. Gold will be here in thousands of years. Same with silver. This coin could be here. Someone will find this coin, or somebody's coins, you know, at some point. So with that being said, thank you all for watching. I hope you did hit that subscribe button. I hope you hit the thumbs up, and I hope to see your comments in the description. So y'all have a great weekend. Take care. I'll see you again next week. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.